Take 41. Today we're going to be doing the weekly online Canyons Cubes cubing competition run by Chris Choi. I'm going to be competing in 3x3 OH and FTO. There's some other events too. If you guys would like to try it out, check the link in the description. Anyways, I'm probably forgetting something, but let's hop right into it. First up, FTO. Now that it's scrambled, we're ready to solve. And don't worry, I won't make you watch every scramble. It's been a couple weeks, so my goal for the first solve is just to solve it. Any time between 30 and about 50 seconds is pretty normal for me, but like I said, it's been a while, so we'll probably be on the slower end of that, but that's okay. That's why we're here practicing. Here I'm working on the 3 centers, and a quick fun fact, when I learned to solve the FTO intuitively, I actually referred to the inner triangles as centers, which of course isn't right, but it definitely threw some people off, I guess. Here I actually get a pretty lucky case for the last part. You probably can't tell in the video, but I actually totally forgot to check which way the apron needed to go. Luckily, I randomly chose the right direction. And well, that was a great time. I did not expect a sub 40 for my first FTO solve in a minute. And remember, these solves are a part of the online Canyons Cubes competition, so starting with a better than expected solve is great and definitely helps to take the nerves down a little bit for me. The competition uses a standard average of 5 format, which means that the slowest time and the fastest time aren't used when calculating your average, which is nice because that means here if I get an even faster solve, then this solve could count. Whereas starting with a bad solve can be stressful because that means you're only one bad solve away from having a counting bad solve. Here you'll notice me pausing quite a bit. Luckily I end with another pretty decent case, which helps me avoid having what could have been a super bad time. And 45 isn't too great, but as long as we're staying below the 50 mark, I can't be too disappointed. Now it's time for solve 3. Here I notice what could be a pretty good first center, which does make me a little bit nervous, but also a little bit excited to do the solve. On to the 3 centers. Usually I solve the 3 centers incorrectly and then fix them after. This isn't great, but it does get the job done. When I want to get faster, that's definitely something that I'm going to fix, but I've been putting it off as much as I can. Once again, I'm struggling a little bit with recognition, but I'm going to end with a pretty lucky case, as you'll see here pretty soon. Just a few awkward sledgehammers and suddenly the cube is solved. I'll take a 37, and that means that my 39 previously will definitely be counting towards my average. As the 4th solve starts, I get even more nervous because I have a 45 and a 37, which means this average could go fairly well, or it could go pretty bad too. We're still gotta see. As mentioned earlier, if you're interested in competing in the weekly online competition, I will leave a link to my Discord server in the description and you can find it there. Unfortunately, the nerves did impact this solve. You'll notice that I missed a triangle at the back there. It's a fairly quick fix, but definitely enough to throw me off during a solve. Hopefully I still get a lucky last part. Nope. Combined with a rough last step, this means that I end with my worst time yet, a 46. So basically, I need to lock in for the last solve. I'll stop yapping for this one, and you guys can watch how it goes. Wish me luck. Unfortunately, I end with a 47, giving me the worst possible average. That comes out to 43.95. Now it's time to do some one-handed solving. For one-handed solving, it's usually considered better to use your non-dominant hand. In my case, I started doing one-handed solves before I knew that, and I still haven't done many, so I still actually use my dominant hand. Perhaps I'll have to think about changing that in the future. Uh-oh, a dot case. I don't know many of my OLLs or PLLs for one-handed, so sometimes I can end up having to use up to 6 algorithms for last layer. Just like which hand I use, I'm sure this would be an easy fix if I start practicing OH. Looks like Solve 1 is wrapping up. Instead of doing that PLL, I opt to use an A perm combined with a U perm afterwards. Solve 1 is a 42, and honestly, I don't know if that's good or bad for me. Either way, let's see if I can beat it in Solve 2. The cube I'm using here is the XT3 V1. This cube is my main for normal 3x3, but for 3x3 one-handed, it isn't the best. When solving one-handed, stability is even more important, so a cube like the Weilong V10 might be a better option. But here, I'm using the XT3 V1 purely because it is what was just on my desk, and also the sound's pretty nice for recording. Just like last solve, I opt to use an A perm and then a U perm here. Whoops, didn't plan for that one. Luckily, I didn't lose track of which way the cube was facing, so I'm able to finish with a faster time than Solve 1. I also don't really know how good 38 is for me, but let's see if we can beat it in Solve 3. As I mentioned before, right there is a good example of why a stable cube is so important for OH. If you've made it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future giveaways and live streams too. And if you have a second, go poke around my website, canyonscubes.com. I have all sorts of Rubiks cubes and stuff up there. Here I get this M or W shaped OLL. Normally I really like this OLL, but with OH I stress and just can't remember how to do it right. Luckily, the 2-look OLL gives me a nice A perm to end out the solve. Just like last time, we've managed to one-up our previous solve. Only 2 solves left for me to record for this online competition. If everything goes right, I'll be able to beat my previous solve again. Make sure to comment which type of events you'd like to see in future online Kanyons Cubes competitions. These events can include things like WCA puzzles, non-WCA puzzles, and other challenges like solving with gloves. And we're always open to new ideas. This solve started out pretty rough with a slow cross, but it looks like it's picking up speed as we go. The OL case is decent. If we get a good PL case, we might even beat the previous time again. Yep, looks like we got a nice A perm to finish out Solve 4, beating Solve 3 with a 36. Enough yapping though, I'll let you guys watch this last solve to see if I can beat my previous solve once again. Looks like we did it, and a final average of 37.21. That's all for today. See you guys next time. Okay, we're gonna restart that again. Holy cow. Anyways, hopefully my head's not cut off here. The angle's a little weird. We're doing a test. Anyways, that's that. I'm gonna try not to say crap, I keep saying